Hi folks, hope you're well. Welcome to this video on double loop circulation. So what we're talking about here is, again, it's the blood vessels, but obviously bringing the heart into it a little bit as well. The diagram below, not the best one in the world, but it'll do for our purposes for this short video, is looking at how the heart, because of its four chambers, is receiving blood from two different locations and pumping blood to two different locations. And the colours are very, very important here. You know, if I was to draw a line down the middle of this diagram, okay, you can see that everything on this side is blue, everything on this side is pretty much red, and that is basically the two parts of the circulatory system, the double loop circulation. Okay, this side is dealing with deoxygenated blood and this side is dealing with oxygenated blood. However, what do we need to know for the purposes of our exam? We actually need to know about this one and this one. Good old-fashioned figure of eight. Okay. Now on this diagram, it gives it a couple of different names. If you look, it gives it pulmocutaneous circuit and the systemic circuit. Systemic we're keeping here. We're going to call the top part the pulmonary circulation. Okay, pulmonary, respiratory. What do both those terms mean? They mean the lungs. So what is pulmonary circulation? It's circulation between the heart and lungs. Okay. What is systemic circulation? It's circulation between the heart and systemic, basically meaning the rest of your system. And we'll say the rest of the body. All the other organs, all the muscles, everything else is involved in systemic circulation. Now what we're seeing in this video, in this picture is, what's happening is, let's deal with a fresh oxygenated blood cell. Okay, it's in this. Remember, we're looking at it mirror image. Left atria down into the left ventricle, and then squeezed out of your aorta, and into the aorta, into all the body's arteries, and off it goes into systemic circulation. So it goes into the muscles, into the organs, etc. These are now all capillaries, these smaller blood vessels, and this is where your diffusion is taking place, where the oxygen is diffusing out of the blood into the muscle or into the organ, and CO2 is diffusing from the muscle or organ back into the blood. Hence why the blood is now going blue. It's dropped off the oxygen, picked up the CO2, and the blood is now deoxygenated. And what we're doing now is we're still in the capillaries, but we've left the muscle or the organ now, and the capillaries are getting wider and turning into veins, and then the veins turning into the big vena cava or vena cava is going to come back into now the right hand side of the heart, the right atria and the right ventricle. Okay, that is systemic circulation complete. So it's oxygenated blood leaving the left side of the heart, going to the muscles and the organs, dropping off the oxygen, picking up the carbon dioxide, and then returning to the right-hand side of the heart, right? So I'm still that same blood cell. I've dropped off my oxygen, I've picked up my CO2. What's the right atria going to do? It's going to contract and squeeze me into the right ventricle. The right ventricle is going to then contract and force me out into the blood vessels that are now going to take me towards the lung, okay? What's going to happen is, now that I'm in the capillaries in the lung, or in the lungs, I'm going to drop off my CO2, it's going to diffuse into the lungs, it's going to pick up fresh oxygen, and once I've picked up fresh oxygen, I'm then going to make my way back to the left-hand side of the heart. Atria, ventricle, and then back into the aorta and back around the body again. But that part between leaving the heart with my CO2, going to the lungs, dropping off my CO2 and picking up my oxygen and returning back to the heart, that is my pulmonary or pulmonary circulation. So you need to be aware that there are two circulation circuits in the body. One is between the heart and the rest of the body, and one is between the heart and the lungs, and what is happening to the blood in those two.